Good evening, and welcome to the Mosquito Fire Information Community Meeting for Tuesday, September 13th. My name is Nathan Judy, Fire Information Officer for California Interagency Incident Command Team 5. Along with me, we have our ASL interpreter, Jackie. We welcome you to the meeting. This evening, you're going to hear from members of our Interagency Unified Command Team. As always, we'll answer your questions that were submitted earlier in email and ones submitted online in the chat after the formal briefing. Currently, the fire is at 50,330 acres, 25% contained. There is 3,052 personnel on the fire. We're going to start this meeting off tonight with our Operations Section Chief, Landon Hack.
Good evening, Landon Hack, Operations. Give you a little orientation to the map here for those that may have not seen this yet. Middle fork of the American River going right down here through the middle. Forest Hill Road and Forest Hill Divide up here on the northern side. Georgetown over in here, Volcanoville, Stumpy Meadows, Quintet, sorry. And then out on the east, Ramsey Crossing, Last Chance, and Michigan Bluffs over here in this area. So just kind of a picture there of where that's at. For incident activity today, I'm going to start right here over where Dorado County and Placer County meet on the fire's edge along the Middle Fork. So the fire did come across from the Dorado County side back onto the Placer County side underneath the community of Todd Valley and Forest Hill. As of right now, the fire is still contained to the south of Forest Hill Road and the east of this ridge that comes right down here below Todd Valley. They got a pretty significant firefight going on out there right now as we speak. They're trying really hard to hold that fire in that box right there. As of right now, we don't have any reports of fire established on the north side of Forest Hill Road. Moving on up Forest Hill Divide today, there wasn't any fire progression in this area here going up to Michigan Bluff. Moving further up Forest Hill Divide up towards Forks House. No progression here. There was fire progression out to the east going up towards Westville. Continue firing along Forest Hill Road, trying to stay ahead of where that's going. Crews are working out in here, starting to build containment lines coming down to the south, a little ways off of where that fire was headed. They're continuing that down through some road systems, west of Greek Store, down through road systems, bringing us down into the French Meadows Road area. They're continuing through proposed line in here, starting to put this line together, bringing us all the way down eventually into the Rubicon. On the south end, down around Stumpy Meadows, we don't have any fire progression coming down to the south today from in that area. All this black line here, containment line, remains intact and holding. This is still being improved right now before we call this section in here contained. No progression out of there either today. Coming up into Volcanoville, on Volcanoville Road, this is all still holding very well, and we're starting to get some depth built in our containment along the ridge line that comes out off of Buckeye Point and brings us down to the Middle Fork again. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Appreciate that. Next up, we're going to bring our fire behavior analyst, Jonathan Pangburn.
Good evening. As you heard from our Operations Section Chief, Landon Hack, we have the spot fire that established across the Middle Fork of the American River, and I just want to touch on that briefly in a fire behavior perspective. The fire had been on the south side of the Middle Fork of the American River and was progressing in this area near Buckeye Point. Unfortunately, as you can see There are a lot of twists and turns in the river here, and what that does is it channels the wind, and sometimes as it passes these curves, it likes to swirl and make an eddy, and that likes to try to push smoke and material, burning embers and ash in those eddies. And unfortunately, in this case, it caught one, and it's trying to make a little bit of an upslope run, but thankfully they had been planning for this potential impact and had put a number of contingency lines in place, and a number of firefighting resources are trying to keep the fire from extending beyond this particular ridge and stop that any potential westward or northward expansion in this area. Minimal fire behavior seen in this area due to the extensive mop-up that's still going on in Forest Hill specifically. The firing that you heard about is bringing fire along the edge here to try to make sure that before the main fire makes a large head run at it, they have an area that has already been burned out under slightly better, safer conditions, so that when the fire comes and approaches, in this case, the Forest Hill Road near the Forks House, it will be devoid of fuel and not be able to extend further and create additional issues for communities and values at risk to the north. Same thing in Last Chance. But what I want to bring back to your attention was the weather situation. You might remember we've been choking on smoke. It was sitting down in the area here, and it slowed the fire down for a couple of days. It was highly explosive when it first started, and then it kind of sat for a little bit. It still grew, but not as explosively. Now we have this change in weather. We still have the winds out of the southwest pushing to the northeast. They're not dramatically strong, but they're strong enough to give clear air. What that means is that it's going to continue to have potential for progression out in this northeastern portion of the area of the fire. As we move down on the southern end of the Middle Fork of the American River and out toward the Rubicon River, we're really seeing the effects of that wind as well, pushing it away from Stumpy Meadows Reservoir. Thankfully, I know a lot of firefighters are in there trying to make sure to stop the southward expansion to more values at risk, and the wind is helping with that in terms of the containment toward the south and helping to drive it into more of the forested area where they are, again, trying to turn the corner. And I want to finally touch on the communities to the south, Quintet, Volcanoville, and past the Georgetown Divide and into Georgetown and beyond into El Dorado County. Two things are happening there. One, we have a lot of firefighting going on, trying to make sure to take the heat out of any of the fire that had been in this southwestern portion of the fire. And two, the wind is thankfully in our favor, again, trying to push away from there. So thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan. Next up from Placer County Sheriff's Office, we're going to have Lieutenant Josh Barnhart.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm going to start with our map and let you know again that in our social media posts you can access the link or go to placersheriff.org. Again, as a reminder as well that if you're not receiving notifications, you can go to placer-alert.org to receive those notifications. We've had two changes today. We expanded our evacuation order zone to 11 Alpha, which includes Yankee Gyms and Shirttail Canyon, which is in this area. We, as a result of that, we extended the evacuation warning zone to 26, which is Iowa Hill at Mineral Bar north of Big Dipper. The reason for this was because of the fire that came up below Todd Valley today. As extra precautions, we've expanded those areas. I'll give you some numbers. To this point, under evacuation orders, we've evacuated 5,976 people. That includes 2,644 homes. We've issued evacuation warnings to 282 people, and that's 156 homes. And we've had 90 refusals. We continue patrols 24/7. Last night we had no significant traffic stops or calls for service. And during the day our deputies were busy, especially in the afternoon with evacs for that new zone. For Mission Bluff residents, the damage assessment came in and notifications were made in person, yet both yesterday and today, and we helped facilitate those people with county services. Again, I'd like to close with just thanking the community for their support, continued support in this effort. We know that's a very difficult time for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant. Appreciate that. Next up from El Dorado County Sheriff's Office, Sergeant Alexander Story.
Hello, thank you. I'm Alexander Story with the El Dorado County Sheriff's Office, and I'm the Public Information Officer. Today we had 10 El Dorado County Sheriff's Office personnel and 10 mutual aid personnel to total 20 total personnel out dedicated to the fire. We made 2 more arrests today, so that's bringing us up to 10 arrests and 1 citation for the fire specifically. All these arrests and cites were for people we believe to be victimizing the community. Again, public information, you can access our county website, edcgov.us, our social media accounts, and 211. To receive evacuation notices, go to ready.edso.org. And an update on evacuation. Today we made additional evacuation orders in the area of Stumpy Meadows. Go to our website and you can see the map for a detailed location. Our DINS team is out there working still, and they will continue to update the information on the county website with the map, so you can refer to that to see any information on residences in the area. Thank you.
Thank you, Sergeant. Appreciate that. Next up with our Unified Command Incident Commanders with Team 5 is Dustin Mueller.
Thank you, Nathan. Hi, good evening, folks. Just want to thank you guys for joining out there in the community and listening to this very important information that we're about to, or that we have shared with you, and we're eagerly waiting for your guys' questions and highly encourage that. So I do want to start off by reconfirming on behalf of the Unified Incident Commanders at base here, our commitment to you to continue our aggressive full suppression strategy. So what that means is we're doing everything we can in ICP here to gain resources from across the state, across the nation, to gather on points of the fire where we feel that's going to be most successful, us gaining containment. So right now we're shifting a lot of resources around the fire up towards Forest Hill. As you guys know, in the area right now, there's some impingement on Forest Hill Road with the spot fire as described by operations. But we're shifting resources not only on the fire, but also both agencies, CAL FIRE, Forest Service. We're also talking to our directors in the region, up and down the state, trying to get more resources to come here as fastly and quickly as possible to help you guys out. Once again, like I said, we are, like I said, we're mobilizing resources also from out of our nation's national command system. So that's in Boise right now, and we're trying to pull those resources in as we try to keep you guys safe. So I want to stop again and highly encourage questions later. We have a whole list of people, a whole audience of people to answer questions tonight, and we want to leave with that. So once again, we really appreciate all your support out there, supporting the sheriff's offices of both counties, supporting us as an incident management team, and then all the agencies. So thanks again, and talk to you later.
Thank you, Commander. Appreciate that. We do have one question in the chat that we're going to bring back up from Placer County Sheriff's Lieutenant Josh Barnhart.
Thank you. One question is, should communities along I-80 be concerned at this time? At this time, no. And we've expanded, just a reminder that we expanded those orders today out of an abundance of caution to make sure that we do have enough time if we do need to evacuate. We have expanded those warning zones as well. One more question, is Todd Valley safe? I can tell you I just came from Wharton's Market tonight where the firefighting effort is underway, and they're just doing a fantastic job. There'll be more on that, obviously, as the night and tomorrow goes on. Thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant. We've got another question for El Dorado County Sheriff. We're going to bring back up Sergeant Alexander Story.
Thank you. One question is, do we anticipate evacuations in Auburn Lake Trails and Cool? At this time, we do not anticipate any evacuation in that area, but the fire is dynamic, so is the weather, and both of those things contribute to evacuations. Thank you.
Thank you, Sergeant. Appreciate that. And that concludes our formal portion and our question and answer portion for this evening. We want to thank you for joining us. We'll see you again tomorrow. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat. For tomorrow, again, if you have questions, please email them to us early so we can make sure we can answer those for you. Thank you and have a great evening.